So, it appears that Alex Kurtzman, Alex Kurtzman, apparently has a 5-year mission for Star Trek. Well, this is actually kind of old news. The details of this had already been out about the 2 cartoons and Section 31 series, and of course Picard, which appears to be the only one that's happening. And then, of course, there's supposed to be a 3rd season of Star Trek Discovery, but, well. Anyway, oh boy, what a lovely picture, huh? You know, that was one of the only bright spots of this 2nd season, and the actual design they did for the Enterprise bridge, which, of course, it's not the original one, but actually looks better than the one they provided for the J.J. Abrams 2009, Star Trek movies. And it's too bad, because it just gave you another inkling of what might have been. And a lot of people just said, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we had a Captain Pike series? And yeah, maybe so, if you had some better writers, because Anson Mount did what he could, but, well, they didn't really give him much, did they? And Ethan Peck, he did all right as Spock. When he shaved the beard, boy, he really doesn't look like Spock at all. I guess Zachary Quinto kind of has him beat in that department. But other than that, he was pretty good at it. It's just, again, the story they gave him was just wasn't any good. And as for Rebecca Remains #1, well, boy, if you blinked, you missed it. She just wasn't given enough to do there. So, yeah, it would have been nice to see more of that in a well-written series. If it's not going to be well-written, then just don't even bother. But, yeah, the bridge design, better than the J.J. Abrams version. But that was about it. Oh, yeah, and speaking of Rebecca Romaine, well, I think we now know that she was the real Mystique. Yes, she was. Yes, she was. Anyway, back to Star Trek. So, after rumors of Alex Kurtzman being shown the door out of the Star Trek franchise, he's still talking about his 5-year mission for Star Trek to Deadline's, a Crew Call podcast. So, here's some quotes for it. I went to CBS and I said, I think you have a universe here that is very underutilized and a fan base that I think is hungry for a lot more. And I walked them through the plan of what I saw for the next 5 to 10 years of Trek. Oof. Wow. So you see, they didn't understand that Star Trek was this franchise that they had. Kurtzman had to go to them and say, hey, you've got this. I don't buy any of this. Part of it was kind of premised on the idea that it was going to take time. Yeah. What I said was, don't expect us to put the first thing out and suddenly, you have 100 million new fans. Yeah. You think he told him that, or he realizes it now. He says, yeah, you got to give it time. It's got to stay in the oven for a while. That's not gonna happen, you're right. It didn't. Trek has been around for too long for that to happen. Oh, boy. Yeah, it's too old, huh? But what we have to do is new generations. And what I can tell you is that Trek, in general, finds people when they're about between 9 and 12. It's reached younger than that. Wait, no. Oh, where does he get this? This is just, pulling stuff out of his ass. It's never reached younger than that. How do you know? I mean, what? It's never tried to. They tried to do entertaining shows and do the best work they could within the science fiction genre. That's what they tried to do. You didn't, but that's what they tried to do. And to me, that's a hugely missed opportunity. Also, this is his brilliance. And once again, this idea that there's this other audience out there, and he has the magic formula about how to bring them in. And this is constantly excuse used for these failing rebooted franchises. And so this is his version of it, I guess, that he could reach younger than 9 to come into Star Trek. Let's see what, because what you're really trying to do is influence hearts and minds with really positive messages. Yeah. Messages about who we can be as a species and as people and what our future is. So why not start young, And not for a cynical reason. No, not because, hey, let some more, I guess come on, Bounding. Let's sell some more toys. Yeah, you see, Alex, you're asking these companies to invest a lot of money, and boy did they, into these projects of yours, with the promise that the merchandise is going to make huge bank on it, because that is the backbone of all of these franchises. And you're not even interested in it? Oh, I don't believe that either. No, you were. You were selling them on that, and it didn't happen. That's another, because what is the metrics of Star Trek Discovery's success? There aren't any. We don't know, but we can see that, no, there's no Star Trek Discovery toys selling or any of that kind of stuff. No T-shirts and whatnot. So, whoops. Yeah, so apparently you didn't reach anybody who wanted to buy that stuff. So, guess it didn't work. Anyway, Kurtzman added, but we're definitely seeing just metric proof. Oh, I'm sorry, I screwed up. You're going to show us and tell us what that metric is. No. So yeah, Star Trek Lower Decks. Yeah, that's probably going to be like, remember that redo of Thundercats? That's what I'm thinking it's going to look like. Boy, it's so brilliant, and it's going to show people who are the background big stories going on, and these little guys, and they've never done that. Star Trek never did a story about the little guy. No, they never did. Did you ever watch it? No. Then there's this other show for Nickelodeon that they haven't announced a title yet, because why bother? And he's all expect it's going to be brilliant and great, and it's going to be like Love, Death, and Robots on Nickelodeon. Oh boy. So one question that a number of fans have been wondering is if the show will feature similar Star Trek voices. Kurtzman makes it clear that unlike Star Trek the Animated Series, which saw most of the original crew reprise their roles, these two animated shows are going in a different direction. Yeah. So the answer is no. You're not going to get... Maybe! Yeah, well, you're going to have to renegotiate that license deal, which means you have to keep all your Star Trek stuff in another universe, so no. Star Trek Picard, where you watch about, 8 episodes of Picard growing wine, and then some other soap opera will go on, apparently. Kurtzman was asked as to why the show was named after a person instead of a ship or station like past Star Trek shows, because he didn't know that. Of course, his own show was named after a ship, so I guess he should have guessed. But it's a great and necessary question, is it? I don't know. And it's something that has been baked into the DNA of Picard. Yes, obviously, Patrick Stewart is Patrick. But we have an unbelievable cast. And, the thing that I loved about the Next Gen cast is that you really could have focused on any episode on any of them. Unlike what you did in Star Trek Discovery. I mean, occasionally, but not so much. I would say the same about our cast now. So Patrick Stewart is just sort of around, but for the most part, it's this new cast. So that's what he's telling you there. So, yeah, whatever. On that note, Kurtzman turned his attention to star and fan favorite Patrick Stewart. He opened up about how critical it was to have... I know, because you'd screwed up with Star Trek Discovery, so you desperately needed somebody from the Star Trek franchise that you could bring in. And, of course, you're limited, again, by that licensing deal. But you needed somebody like that in the hopes that it could breathe life into this. And still, you couldn't sell Netflix on it. So, Amazon stepped up. But, boy, were they upset with the initial version of it, huh? Yeah. And the testing results don't sound that great either. Uh-oh. You still got the same crap writing staff, including you. So, yeah. So anyway, Patrick Stewart apparently said, I don't want to do this unless we're breaking new ground. I don't want to display the character I played. Why come back to that? We did that already. So that justifies him being a different Picard from another timeline. So I guess. But why not just say he's old? And that's that. So that's why he's different. But they can't. Because the legal problem, which granted is not Kurtzman's fault, but it is what it is, and they should stop lying about it. But anyway, finally, Kurtzman gives some more details on how they plan on bridging the gap between Star Trek Nemesis, they won't, and Star Trek Picard. I think we found a story that honors everything that people love about the character, but in ways that are not what you expect. Oh, we're going to subvert those again, huh? Yeah. And yet become more and more familiar as the show goes. And that's what's exciting. A lot has happened to Jean-Luc Picard in the intervening years since Nemesis. Yeah, I guess so. There's been a lot going on, and he's had to deal with some new things. He's had to deal with some old things, and both of those things kind of come colliding together. He's made choices that he's not necessarily feeling great about, and yet I think the audience will understand exactly why he made them. Yeah. So he tried to kill Ben Solo in the night, too. So anyway, there you go. Picard and Kurtzman saying he's got a 5-year mission. That's great. And I guess the Romulan supernova will be part of the story, but, so what? So there's Star Trek Discovery and whatever that was. And, and they said, they haven't really started taping anything from Star Trek Discovery. He says, well, we're still working on the scripts, and we're doing Picard now. So apparently that's in the way. And, Section 31, yeah, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. And then more short treks. And not short enough. No. So he does address there was a fan petition saying, hey, why not just do a Pike series? He says, yeah, maybe. That sounds something, huh? We're thinking about it because you mentioned it. But don't hold your breath. That's too bad. That's too bad. I mean, the idea of giving a fan base what they want, that's crazy talk. So anyway, there you go. Kurtzman still professing his, 5-year mission. Just not the one you want. All right, thank you for watching and listening. Say, why not like and subscribe and check out that link description below. That'll take you to my mini stores and a link to this article from Bounding into Comics. Thanks for doing the actual work. But yeah, Bounding into Comics is a good site. And the link description below from my mini stores and all that stuff. And we'll do it again soon. Thanks for watching again, and bye-bye.